what I'd like to do now is kind of assess the whole overall design and decide where we need some stronger highlights. And we're going to dry brush these on, and I'm using a number 10 Tradition Stone blender. And first I'd like to, add a little bit more highlight to the hat, the mittens, and the pom-pom on the hat. So I'm going to tip my stone blender in just a little bit of white paint and brush that out in a circular motion on the palette. I want to really work that paint into the brush so that we don't have much of a coverage. It's just really soft on the brush. Let's start with the pom-pom first. We've gone over our whole heart with a coat of the glazing medium, and that sealed everything that we've done in. So if for some reason you don't like something that you've done when we start this dry brushing, you can take a damp paper towel and wipe it off before it dries too much. So let's start out on the pom-pom, and I'm just going to work in a circular motion with this little bit of white paint on the brush. And I'm going to start out in the center of the pom-pom. And you can see where I'm highlighting just real softly with this white paint. And that's just going to give us a little stronger highlight on this pom-pom and make it look more round. So I'm starting in the middle and just spreading out a little bit as I go to soften that paint. It's whitest in the middle and softens as it goes out. Now we're going to do the same type thing on the mittens. I'm adding a little more paint to the brush. And again, I'm really working that paint down into the bristles so that there's no clumps or anything. And I want to highlight this green top of the mitten. So I'm not going all the way up to the yellow edge where we added the yellow accent. I'm down a little bit farther into the middle of the mitten, and I'm going to just twirl that brush in a circular motion. And you can see your paint will almost come off in a powder, and you can see where I've just added a little stronger highlight to that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And your brush probably doesn't have much paint, so you really have to push down fairly hard if you've got the right amount of paint in your brush. So we've just added a very soft little blend of white dry brushing. So a little more paint in the brush, and let's add a little bit to the red areas. Again, I'm working in the middle. I'm kind of to the top, just to the right of center on this one. And a little glow there, and then a little bit on the other side, and about the same area. We're just a little bit above center. And again, the paint comes off and will almost be like a powder, and you can brush that off, but you'll have a little residue that stays and adds that extra glow. And then we're going to, again, put a little more paint in the brush, and I'm going to do some here on the center of the red hat band. And this is just in the area where I want the strongest highlight. So I'm not spreading it out too far. Brush that off, and you can, again, just see that little extra highlight glow in the middle. Again, a little more paint. And I'm going to add a little bit here on the green part of the hat, just under the yellow accent that we put in. Again, I'm working in a circular motion, and spread this one out just a little bit more since that hat's bigger. You can see the little bit of glow there, and I'm going to put a little bit here on the side of the hat tail where it curves out the farthest. And again, I'm wiping the residue off, so you can just see those little extra glows that we've added. Now we can add a little bit to the wing of the bird. Right there in the center. Brush that off. If you can get a little bit on the head, the top of the head. I'd also like to strengthen some of the white on the snowman. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more paint on the brush this time. And I don't want any clumps in the brush. I want it blended out very good. But we're going to just softly scrub that back and forth. It's a little bit heavier dry brushing, but it'll go on as another layer on top of that. And you can work in a circular motion. I'm kind of pushing down a little more now and scrub that out. Add a little bit here to the right of the tail of the hat. Let's go around the star a little bit. You don't want to cover up too much of your like blue accents, but we just want to get those areas a little bit brighter. And then a little bit here on the arms. Let's go up to the top of the arm. Both sides. Add a little more paint. I'd like this area right here above the eyes to be a little brighter, so I'm just real softly going to scrub a little paint in there. You don't want to get up onto your red hat, and you don't want to totally lose your shadow under that hat brim, but I just like to see a little more brightness in the top of the face. I'm going to come down on the cheeks just a little bit. I see I've gone a little bit over that eye, so I'll probably go back in and just add a little bit more black to the eye to make sure that stays dark. I'll scrub a little bit here around the edges of the face. So you can see we've just brightened up the face a little bit. And then I'm going to come down and do a little bit on the lower body. Again, towards the top, I'm just kind of scrubbing it in, and as we work down, just do it in a circular motion. And just soften that into your other layers that are already down. And I'm going to put a little bit more down here on the ground. And I'm really going to pile that up a little bit more so it looks like snow drifting. So I've got a little more paint on my brush. And just scuffing that across. And as I come down, as the paint wears off the brush, I'll lighten my touch up and let that fade down into the shadow. little bar. So it looks like a little mound of snow piled up there in front. You can come up here onto the birdhouse just a little to soften that bottom edge. I'm going to go back and correct that snowman's eye where my dry brushing came over it just a little bit. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of black and go back in and just darken his eye back in so it doesn't look so cloudy.